this is one that I actually really want your advice on, because you do know a lot about this field, and one I can't comprehend because I'm like a creative person and believe in the best in people. But if we're going towards AI takes over these jobs, right? Money is everybody's making the same amount. What happens to our current bank accounts? What happens to our current money? If we have a new currency, it's not the US dollar, maybe it's CBDC. If I have $1 million today and everybody else has 50,000, then I'm only going to be able to make 4,000, not allowed to make more. What happens?
So the first thing people need to know is that there's something called the FDIC, and the FDIC insures each bank account
250 grand.
250
right?
grand. So these motherfuckers out here flexing $10 million in a bank account, they literally don't seem to understand that if there's a bank run, the bank run's never going to happen. Till it happens, motherfucker. It's going to happen, right? And you're only going to get back 250,000. Why? Because when you deposit money in the bank, you are no longer the benefactor and the owner of that money. You've given it as a loan and a right of use, right?
This is well known.
To the banks. Not to most people, to people like us.
Okay, fair.
That's why we like crypto.
But what happens to people like us? What should people like us do?
I want to address the people that don't know first.
Okay, fine.
So, I want to address the people that don't know. So you have this situation whereby you only have 250,000 insured. At any moment, a bank run can happen and your money's gone. So the first objective is to become self-banked.
Diversify.
Self-banked. What does self-banked mean? Is that you do not depend on BlackRock through a 401k to be trading basket of assets for you. No, you should be educated and intelligent enough to build your own investment portfolio, right? Fuck these 401ks. People are like, I got to work. I just want my money deposited. Perfect. That's why the system is there, because most people are lazy. And that's why it works. Like, it works because people don't want to put in the extra hours. So for the people that want to put in the extra hours, I guess it makes sense to build your own portfolio the same way we do. You have not only portfolio management.
Just using like a direct brokerage, or
no, like you get your 401k, you can extract X amount of money from your paycheck, goes straight into your 401k, right? And who manages that 401k investment, right? These big companies, these big organizations, right? So who conditioned you to invest into a 401k?
TV.
The exact same guys that are collecting the money to invest on your behalf, right? So you have this big situation where you have these bank runs that take place every 100 years. Do the research, do the history. Money is extremely new. Like how we perceive money, this fiat currency, this current format of central banking is extremely new. 1971, we left the gold standard. We go into full fiat mode, right? What happens? What people don't talk about is that the president in 1971, he did a recall on gold. And he told everybody, right, it became illegal to own gold. It became illegal in the United States of America to own gold. You could own up, I think, to like 5 to 7 ounces. I don't remember the exact number. And then you had to sell all your money, all your gold back to the government for a standard price, a standardized price. And this was to stimulate the economy, when in fact it was stealing. Because anybody that can create money out of thin air and print it, it's called what? What is it called? When you take the money and you print it out of thin air.
Inflation? I don't know.
No. What is it called?
Give it to me, Dad.
You know it.
Yeah.
You know it.
Printing money?
When you print money out of thin air.
I don't know.
It's a forgery. Lying.
I'm never gonna get that.
When you forge money, you create money out of thin air, and you go to prison.
Okay.
Right.
Okay,
So you forge money, you go to jail.
Okay.
But the Federal Reserve, they can print money out of thin air, and what happens? They're forging money, but no, there's no consequence because they're the ones that control the money supply. Therefore, they control the world. That means
it's useful for me to know this, but I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do with this information.
That means that money in your bank account isn't yours. So first of all, I made a tweet. So I'm going to break it down for the newbies, but then also for the people who are in kind of like our category up. You need to have a basket of assets, right? So for the people that are higher up, you need a basket of assets. What are the basket of assets you could tap into? You can tap into Swiss francs, Singaporean dollar that are, a little bit more stable than the US dollar, gold, silver, physical, right?
Why would we say Swiss francs out of all the currencies in the world?
Phenomenal question. Very simple. They've, up until the Ukraine situation, over the last 100 years, they've stayed neutral, right? And it's one of the countries that has been known, right, to protect its customers. And if you can manage Swiss francs that I think they have the lowest inflation in the world as part of your portfolio, I think it would be good to diversify from the dollar and the risk that's attached to it.
They have a good smart contract. Okay.
They have a great smart contract. Because they also have really good banking privacy laws, so people deposit all their money there. And that's Swiss francs. Singaporean dollars, emerging country, very low debt, and great GDP. It's very small, but I think in its current format, it is one of the financial and technological hubs in the world. I'd definitely be comfortable putting my money there and diversifying there.
So you're essentially betting on the country's like strategy or
philosophy and their lifespan. Right. So the U.S., I believe, has a massive lifespan. People are like, oh, the U.S. is going, bro. People have been saying the U.S. is going down for the last 200 years, right? It's chaos. It's the final Armageddon every time people are around, right? Dude, can you imagine World War II, what it was in like all around the world? People were probably fucking tripping. It was literally the end of the world. So that situation is going to happen again. But we need to take into account that the United States doesn't only have the dollar. They have the biggest military power in the world. Mm-hmm. And with military, you have force.
Yeah.
And with force, you have power, and you can exercise that. Why do you think they spend so much on the military? It's not because they need it. It's because they need to they understand that, dude, if shit hits the fan, we got the military. Don't fuck with us, right? And that's how America's going to end up playing. But just like Rome, that tends to be the last facet, and the last phase is military force, and it's brute force. It's your kind of last hurrah. So I don't know when we're going to enter that stage, but history repeats itself, and it rhymes extremely, extremely well.
So give me that rhyme. Is it CBDC?
CBDC is 100%.
And then what happens to existing money?
Existing money. So my philosophy is that, let's say it's going to be a 1-to-1 transition. They'll call it like a 1-to-1 pairing to whatever currency you currently have.
Earning power changes.
Earning power changes. Okay. Maybe the earning power doesn't necessarily change, but
spending
CBDCs are central bank digital currencies, which tell you what? That money is not the money of the people. It's the money of what? The central bank. What does that mean? They set the rules on the money. Yeah. Money becomes programmable. So at any moment, right, the head of the Bank of International Settlements, he said the money that we're trying to create is money that is going to be programmable.
Right.
Which means at any moment, if you question the government, right, we can freeze your money for the next 2 days, or you already consumed your.
You go straight to the most evil use cases, bro.
Because it's what's happening.
Like, dude,
do your research.
I'm like, dude, it's great. I can just like go to a store, don't even like scan my fucking items.
But you can
go out. Like, I'm excited about.
But here's the thing, brother. Here's the thing about
they're gonna freeze your shit, and you're going straight to prison, bro.
What I'm saying is the Trojan horse always comes in as a gift.
Okay, makes sense.
And we have to talk about these scenarios because the world is worse than people think, but it's also extremely good. But we need good people leading the world. We need people that actually give a fuck on more than just their family name and their own reputation, legacy, and their own bank account, right? So, like, what are these scenarios? We're talking about, carbon credits and this entire like greenhouse emission, and everybody has their carbon footprint. What happens when you exceed your carbon footprint? No more food. You've exceeded your carbon footprint. And they'll tell you the same narrative, which is what? It's not about you. You need to
save the environment. Yeah.
Save the environment and take care of everybody else. If you look at the history of climate change, go figure out where it started. It's very interesting.